According to the Department of Correctional Services South Africa in 2019, had 162,875 inmates, of which nearly 97% were male. This means that thousands of families and children have to face life without the father as part of their everyday lives. In our previous article, we mentioned that we wanted to ensure that we study this phenomenon of absent and or uninvolved fathers from various angles, since there are many reasons at the root of this phenomenon. Now in this video, we want to look at one aspect, namely fathers in prisons. Fathers who are incarcerated have limited control over the extent to which they are present and involved in the lives of their children. The potential impact of paternal incarceration on the family and also the father himself is extensive. Fully understanding the cause and effect relationship in terms of incarceration is difficult, since there are many varying factors to take into consideration, since children respond differently, and also since the type and the strength of the father-child relationship prior to incarceration plays a significant role. However, it definitely is clear that parental incarceration can be a very hard challenge for many children. Not only are the children at an increased risk of economic and residential insecurity, but incarcerated fathers' sons in particular, they face a significantly higher risk of exhibiting hypermasculine, including aggressive behavior. Of great concern is one specific statistic which showed that, on average, children of incarcerated parents are 6 times more likely to be incarcerated themselves. This forms a vicious circle, difficult to break, and it leaves one wondering if this is a totally hopeless situation which can and will only get worse. Yet there is always hope. In our attempt to find answers to the above, we interviewed Prof. Faisal Freeks, a lecturer at the Northwest University with a strong focus on community engagement and who has first-hand experience in working with incarcerated men. Although a specific record of parental status is not kept, it is estimated that around a third of male inmates are 18 to 25-year-old young fathers, according to Freeks. In our interview, which is added to the end of this video, Prof. Faisal shed light on the current situation in South African prisons, by providing information on the specific prison where he's involved at, and where, in his own estimation, at least half of the prisoners that he worked with grew up in a fatherless home. Prof. Faisal started running a program called the Fatherhood Training and Equipping Program at the above-mentioned facility. This program supports the purpose of the White Paper on Corrections in South Africa, which, in a nutshell, wants to create an environment in which offenders are encouraged to disregard negative and destructive values and to replace them with constructive values. The aim of Faisal's program is to address father absenteeism, fatherlessness, uninvolvement, neglect of children, and family dilemmas. It is a Christian-oriented program, and it wants to offer solutions and guidelines, and it wants to restore the crucial role of the father in the family context, and it wants to build better relationships in families. And therefore, incarcerated fathers are encouraged to become more involved in the lives of their family members, especially the children. Prof. Faisal's Fatherhood program covers 7 main themes, which are worked through during training sessions with the inmate fathers. And these themes that are covered are the concept of fathering, the importance of self-images of fathers, the approach of character versus career, how to overcome labeling, how to handle disappointments, the father as developer, and how to become fully you. The program is a great initiative, and Prof. Faisal is hoping that it will be extended to other prisons as well. We all know how big of a motivating factor support, encouragement, and guidance can be in our lives, and therefore we applaud Prof. Faisal for his initiative. And we are excited to see it develop and also to be duplicated at more prison centers in South Africa. Programs like this aimed at equipping fathers could go a long way in promoting paternal involvement, even while they are incarcerated, and also positive presence in their children's lives once they are released. since many incarcerated fathers want to improve their parenting abilities, but they may not receive extended services on how to do so from prison. In terms of the child, generally, although the risk of increased antisocial behavior is high among incarcerated parents' children, the child's resilience appears to depend on their social support network. And as mentioned earlier, the strength of their parent-child relationship is the biggest predictor of resilience. Thus, if the bond was strong before incarceration, the child receives support for the duration of incarceration and gets to maintain contact with their parents, the long-term negative effects can be mitigated. Obviously, easy access to and visitation with the parents in a child-friendly environment provided by the correctional facilities could go a long way to support this parent-child relationship. In conclusion, the effect of father absence, regardless of the reason, poses an enormous risk on children. We at Action Society feel that from a very young age, children, especially boys, need to be in a position where they can sit on their father's knee and learn about what it means to be a man and what the role is that men play in this world. If not, it leaves an enormous vacuum where his father's shadow is supposed to fall, and this vacuum is then sometimes filled with something else, something maybe much darker, which could leave him without a sense of direction. As I listened to Professor talk about the themes covered in his program at this prison, it made me think of the possible wider application of this program. Although this program was designed for a specific target group, it seems many of the themes covered in this program are themes that most of the men in our society today could also benefit from, were they exposed to it, of course. If all men in our society understood the concept of fathering, they might come to understand their role and responsibility in society. If more men were encouraged to develop a healthy self-image as a father, they would be able to pass it on to their own children. If more men acquired the skills of overcoming challenges and handling disappointments, they would be in a position to navigate through life's storms better. And if they were to comprehend the extent to which they can impact the development of their children, they might consider the consequences of their absence or uninvolvement in a serious light and be motivated to play a more positive role. Lastly, if they are guided to personal development and healing, they would be in a position to change the trajectory of not only their own, but also their children's futures. We do not have all the answers, but we do need to talk about this issue more. We need to realize just how incredibly important the role of a father is and what a privilege it is for young trees, boys, to take shape in the shade of the older trees, the fathers, and under their protective branches. We at Action Society commend fathers who do take up their responsibility. Fathers who are present and involved and who are brave captains of their ships, navigating their families to the best of their abilities through the storms of life. So over to you, Faisal. How are you?
Good morning, Renee. I'm doing very well. And you?
I'm doing really well. Faisal, can you please tell us a little bit about who you are and just about the program that you run in prisons, what the content is and the goal of this program that you run in the prisons?
Renee, I'm a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Theology, Northwest University at Potchefstroom campus, and I'm running a program we call the Fatherhood Training and Equipping Program. The Fatherhood Training and Equipping Program is a training and equipping solution distributed in the form of a facilitator's manual, and in this context, based on the attendees, in other words, the inmates or fathers. The program is aligned to and supports the purpose of the white paper on corrections in South Africa because it has the potential to make a positive impact by instilling faith-based values in incarcerated fathers and the potential to positively steer them away from negative and destructive behavior. The program aims to address father absenteeism, fatherlessness, uninvolvement, neglect of children, and family dilemmas. The program also offers guidelines and possible solutions to restore the crucial role of the father within a family context and to build better relationships in families through the leadership of the father and the mother. Renee, also, the program strives to enable fathers to connect with other fathers about their role, to feel empowered, to help identify a common purpose in terms of their families, and to create a space within a new possibilities for incarcerated fathers can emerge.
It sounds like a very, very important program, and I like the fact that you emphasize so much the role and the importance of fathers and how they must be healed. Can you please just tell us a little bit more? You work at one specific correctional facility, am I right? At the moment, it's just focused on one.
Yes, right.
On one prison. Can you tell us more about which facility that is?
Renee, the Potchefstroom Correctional Services, or rather better known today as the Potchefstroom Remand Detention Facility, accommodated in 2020 around 1,800 awaiting trials detainees, 170 sentenced males and 80 sentenced females. So it gives you approximately 2,050 inmates, which is both men and women.
Okay. Now, Faisal, in the first question, you did mention the white paper on corrections. Can you maybe tell us exactly what it is and what the goal of this white paper is, and how your program might fit into that or support it, or how these two things come together?
Yes, most definitely, Renee. The white paper on corrections in South Africa, according Chapter 3.3.7, states clearly that the creation of an environment in which offenders are encouraged to discard negative and destructive values and replace them with positive and constructive values as the core business of the Department of Correctional Services. The central focus of the white paper on corrections in South Africa is the urgency to focus correctional activities on the rehabilitation of inmates. The Department of Correctional Services shares this urgency with society in general. The white paper also emphasizes the importance to identify corrections as the societal responsibility to undertake the departmental duties to achieve a rehabilitation goal. The white paper focuses attention on societal responsibility in the rehabilitation of offenders and on the reintegration of ex-offenders into society. Relatedly, the fatherhood training and equipping program suggests and provides possible solution to incarcerated fathers and to the societal problem of father absence.
You are doing a wonderful job, and you're involved in something really, really important. I'm curious, the program that you present at the prison, what exactly is the content of it? I mean, is it just general life skills, or what are the different chapters or different focuses of the specific program, the content of the program?
Yes, thank you, Renee. The program was first drafted, structured, and compiled in 2011 and officially started in 2015 at the Potchefstroom Remand Detention Facility. Now, the layout of the program consists of a concrete manual and workbook with practical activities which fathers, in other words, the inmates, actively participate when conducting the training sessions. Now, this program has 7 themes which are constructive, relevant, and practical. These themes are the concept of fathering, the importance of self-image for fathers, the approach of character versus career, how to overcome labeling, how to handle disappointments, the father as a developer, and how to become fully you.
This actually sounds like a program that not only the inmates can benefit from, but fathers in general. Sounds like it sounds like this program can be applied in many more contexts than just the prison. Am I right?
That's correct, Renee.
And I'm wondering, this program that you run at this one facility at the moment, do you think this is something that can be extended or will be extended to other prisons in our country?
Yes, most definitely. The content and practical activities are so relevant and valuable from my own research, so definitely it can be applied to a lot of other prisons in South Africa.
Okay. Now, here is a really difficult question. Us as Action Society, we really want to understand this phenomenon. We want to understand father absence. We want to understand the reasons behind it, the effect that it has on society, and eventually we want to find solutions. So I heard you say that father absence is a social in many communities. What do you think the main reasons are? What does your research show? What the main reasons are for father absence and uninvolvement of fathers?
First of all, the absence of a parent within a family system causes a vacuum in the parenthood role, and it has a negative influence on the ability of the family to function efficiently. Moreover, contributing factors to families without fathers are annihilation of family structures, HIV and AIDS, the COVID-19 pandemic, the high divorce rate, complexity of families, and family structures, fathering out of wedlock, deserting and abandoning of children, divorce, domestic inabilities such as physical present, yet emotionally absent, work or social dislocation. For example, father residing in a different household as the rest of his family members, and then also the absence through death, Renee.
While I was listening to you, I thought, this problem sounds just so enormous. One doesn't know where to start, but every drop matters. So every drop of energy that somebody puts in to trying to understand this phenomenon and trying to make a difference helps. But it does sound a bit overwhelming if you listen to just the scope of it and just how enormous this problem is. I'm curious about the prisons. Can you tell us about the level and the quality of the contact that fathers and children have when fathers are in prison? I don't know what the system looks like. I don't know if they have a family room where they can maybe spend time together, or do fathers and children have to see each other through a piece of glass, or what is it like? Do you think it's conducive? Do you think it's a positive environment for children and parents to meet in, or what is it like? If you maybe have an answer, I don't know.
Thank you, Renee. I think that's a very relevant question. Thank you for that question. From my life experience, when presented the program before the COVID-19 pandemic, visitation hours were allowed on certain days, for example, Tuesdays and maybe Thursdays. Say approximately 40 minutes was granted, 40 minutes to an hour was granted separately. So families could then talk to the man with strict supervision from the guards. And families were also allowed to bring maybe, if there is food, maybe cigarettes, cold drink, or maybe refreshments to men or husbands. There are facilities where the men or fathers could phone their relatives, so they are allowed separately rooms to phone then their families or relatives. But the facilities were implemented for the incarcerated men or fathers.
Okay. Yeah, and the ideal is obviously then, they have such limited time with their children and their families. One just hopes that this time together can really be quality time, and that the most can be made of this time between parents and children, because obviously it's not the best circumstances for them to meet in, but you want them to, it would be great if it would be a comfortable, positive environment for parents and children. You work at the Faculty of Theology, and that is obviously your background. So what do you believe could maybe be a solution or an answer pertaining the vicious cycle, this evil cycle of absent fathers, and then the result that it has on the next generation, how can this tragic chain be broken? I know it's a difficult question, hey?
Yes. But Renee, besides from my academic profession, from a very spiritual area or background, I need to say this. I totally believe in the triune God. In other words, God the Father, Jesus Christ the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, this could be a possible solution, I believe so. Right through the program, I have this motto, and this motto is, if Jesus can't fix it, then no one else can. Not even my very own program. If I take out the spirituality part, I'm going to be honest with you, I can't operate or accomplish anything without the help of God. So also the inmates and the fathers I'm doing the program. Personally, I could never be successful on my own. I am interdependent on the triune God, even my academic programs such as the Fatherhood program. The Fatherhood of God is perhaps the most overlooked attribute of God in the Christian world. Christians worldwide pray to God by uttering the familiar words, Our Father who art in heaven. Father is the most familiar term for God in the Christian tradition, and perhaps the most theologically significant title for God in all of Scripture. Now, in the Greek language, Father literally means nourisher, protector, or upholder. God has shown His fatherhood to us in a direct manner by creating all things and establishing man, and by establishing a covenant with His offspring. God also shows His fatherhood through an indirect or mediated manner. In other words, man must know God and His fatherhood before he can fulfill his own role of father to the world. God mediates His fatherhood through Adam. The order of beings created in God's image will be a constant witness to the world of the fatherhood of God. In summary, Renee, that only God can help families, that only God can help communities, that only God can help society, if communities, if families allow them. And that is my whole belief system in this life, that we can only fix things, fix dilemmas, fix situations, even the societal ill as father absenteeism. Only God and through His word we can fix this problem. Thank you, Renee.
Hi, thank you so much, Faisal. It's wonderful to listen to you and to hear your heart for this broken world that we live in, and especially the broken men specific that you work with in prison, and the broken fathers. And thank you so much for your time. You are such a good example to all of us, all our South Africans, in terms of doing your part in our broken society and doing your little bit to make things better for future generations. And we at Action Society, as I've mentioned before, we really want to understand this phenomenon. We want to look at it from all different angles and try to understand the different factors that play in on this and has an effect on father absence and uninvolvement of fathers. And so I am excited about this program of yours. I think we're going to definitely hear more from you in the future, and I'm hoping that we can again have an interview with you maybe a bit later, and as we progress through this journey that we are on, in order to try to understand this phenomenon and trying to find solutions for it, and finding ways in which we can support families so that we can break this chain. Faisal, thank you very much for your time. Good luck with the work that you're doing. It's a great thing that you are doing. And people might probably want to get hold of you. So maybe just before you go, you can maybe just, if there's anything that you would like to add lastly, that would be great. And then if you can then maybe just give us a contact detail, if anybody would like to get in contact with you after watching this video.
Yes, Renee, I would like to summarize very briefly that this program is so valuable. Even after the program is conducted to the inmates, we also have a follow-up program which we call mentoring. So there's a lot of pastors who are involved in the community. I can think, for example, of Pastor Africa. So when the inmates are released or on parole, then me and Pastor Africa just contact the inmates, and we have a kind of mentoring program after they are on parole or after they are released. So that helps a lot, because some of the inmates are really traumatized sometimes of the situations and things that happen in prison. So we walk an extra mile with them, and we're also helping and praying towards maybe a work opportunity, or rather a work opportunity, and to help them be productive and rather contribute back to the community instead of falling back to the old tradition or routines they have previously in. So this program, mentoring program, helps a lot. And we sit with broken fathers, broken men. Most of them grew up without a father, and they have nowhere to go, and they have no solution. So it's important for us to help them, assist them, and follow a mentoring program, and guide them, and just help them to make the right choices. Renee, like I said in the beginning, I'm a lecturer at the Faculty of Theology, so anyone can approach me there. My contact details, for example, my email is 105-896-86@nwu.ac.za, and my contact number is 071-319-7624. Thank you very much, Renee.
Thank you so much, Faisal. Thank you very much again for your time and for what it is that you are doing in this world of ours. It's much appreciated.